Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining us today for creating the perfect sales dashboard webinar. We appreciate your time and are happy that you could join us. Today with us, as usual, is Casey McGuigan, our product manager and product owner on Slingshot. Her email, cmcguigan@infragistics.com. And my name is Jason Barris. I'm our Senior VP of Developer Tools, and you can reach me at jasonb@infragistics.com. If you have any questions after the webinar, do not hesitate to get a hold of us. If you want to do a deep dive demo, if you want to learn more, please let us know. So today's agenda, we're going to look at the top KPIs to track in sales dashboards, and then sort of how that relates to what you would use in this digital workplace, which is Slingshot. And then we're going to spend most of the time on a demo. If you have questions, please use the Q&A or the chat, and we will send out a recording of this webinar plus the slide deck in a follow-up tomorrow. So you will get this as well. You can share it with your coworkers. So top KPIs to track. If you're in a sales team or in a sales organization, you know that there are a handful, maybe a little bit more of key KPIs, key metrics, OKRs, whatever you might call them, to track as you are trying to hit your sales goals. The nice thing about Slingshot is we have embedded analytics. So not only can we do analytics on your databases, so something like SQL Server or analysis services, but we have data connectors for things like Dynamics, Salesforce, and other SaaS tools that you may want to pull in and look at on an hourly, daily basis. You may want to use dashboards and meetings with your team so you can communicate not only downward to the folks that work for you, but also upward to management. So we've highlighted a few here, and we're going to kind of go through these today in a quick demo. Conversion ratio, customer acquisition cost ends up being really important. And this kind of ties into your marketing system. So for example, if you're doing campaigns to get leads and you realize, hey, a lead costs, $300, let's say, to get a lead, but your lifetime value of your customer is $4,000, then that customer acquisition cost plays into that. So you can look at these metrics combined, not independent of just sales, but sales and marketing, to see that, hey, it's okay to have a $300 customer acquisition cost. It might be okay to have a $1,000 customer acquisition cost or a $10,000. It really all depends on what type of product you're selling and at what price point. New seats first renewals. Most software today is sold on a subscription basis. Infragistics has been doing this for over 20 years, going on 30 years with software subscriptions. And now pretty much everyone is doing this. So you have the new seat metric, you have a renewal metric, and then that renewal is what really builds up over time. And you just have to continue to add those new seats every year, and you get that sort of annuity every year with your renewals. And then the opportunity funnel, where are deals at in the opportunity funnel? And so when you're meeting with your team, you can quickly see with the correct visualizations and the correct data, how to communicate that back and forth and be able to project when deals might close. So if we look at this within a digital workplace, there's also these key benefits that you get using something like Slingshot. So it's not just about looking at dashboards and talking about data. It's how do you use that data throughout the day, throughout your meetings, throughout how you run your sales organization. So Slingshot has multiple benefits. I've highlighted a few here. The first one is group discussions, and I'll give a couple examples along the way to talk about these. But for example, let's say that you have a dashboard of top customers and there was an expected renewal. Slingshot makes it super easy to start a group discussion with your team right from that dashboard, so you can collaborate back and forth on that specific data point. So you don't have to leave and go to another product. You're not bouncing around between applications. You're not trying to remember where you were a minute ago. It all happens within the digital workplace. Task and project management. So not only does sales have campaigns and various activities that you run like a project, but you can integrate in with what marketing is doing and integrate in your sales flow into marketing campaigns. Data collaboration and direct to dashboard. So for example, it's really easy in Slingshot to take something like a spreadsheet, a Google sheet, or a data connection and create a dashboard and share that. Just a few clicks. And anyone can do it. You don't need to be an IT. You don't need to be an expert at data or dashboards to do this stuff. We just make it really easy. And then within the digital workplace, you have all of your content. So we link into things like your hard drive, OneDrive, Google Drive, Dropbox, etc. And we can pull whatever you want into your workspaces in the digital workplace and then share and collaborate on those documents. And that can include sales collateral, competitive analysis from your solution consultants, any type of sales helper that you might need. And then meeting collaboration is really great. So within Slingshot, within the discussions tool, you can track all of your meetings, not only internal meetings, but with customers. And you can do this in any number of ways. So what we do at Infragistics is we have projects for individual POCs on certain products. And that way, like any one of our solution consultants around the globe can track a project or create a project. And I'm here in the United States. We might have guys in London, India, Japan, South America. At any given time, I can just go to those projects, see what's going on, see the process of the POCs, where we're at, read the notes, and I'm up to date. We don't need to spend time in meetings. And that's really where this digital workplace benefit comes into play, is through those collaboration points. So with that, we don't want to spend any more time on slides. We want to go right to a demo. So I'm going to let Casey share her screen and we will show you how this works in Slingshot.
All right, you can hear me fine?
Yep, you sound great.
All right, and I am going to share my screen and you can see my, starting with my dashboard. You can see it fine?
Looks great.
All right, awesome. So for this demo here, I'm actually going to recreate the dashboard that you're looking at here on my screen, but quickly closing that out to give you a quick little tour of Slingshot here. The top left is where I have all of the relevant content for myself, where I'm able to see any of my tasks that might be overdue, that are due this month, this week, any mentions that I've missed throughout the application, and anything that I've bookmarked. So your mentions can be any of those conversations that Jason was alluding to, whether it's in a discussion or a task. You can see tasks coming into play here where you have collaborative conversation within it, as well as the direct connection into your things like OneDrive and SharePoint as well that Jason mentioned. And then you can bookmark anything in Slingshot. So you can bookmark really important dashboards, pieces of content, and even points of conversation. You will see some of this in the demo, but I do want to dive right into the dashboard creation, which we're all here for today. So I have this workspace here for sales where I'm going to come and create my perfect sales dashboard. So from the plus dashboard button, and real quick, you can see that each workspace has an overview, has projects, tasks, discussions, pins, and dashboards. And you'll see a few of those after we create the dashboard. So I'm going to come to the plus dashboard button. And here's where I'm prompted to select my data source. For this demo, I am going to use this Excel file, but you can connect right into other systems like Salesforce, CRM, Marketo, HubSpot, wherever it is that you are maintaining your sales information. And then you can see also that we have social media connectors and a ton of different connectors here. And we're constantly pushing out new ones. So on our release cadence, we try to release a new data source as well. So any that you happen to see missing, please do let me know. So from here, I'm going to select this Excel file just to use this for the demo. And once it loads, I'm going to click select data. If I had multiple sheets within my Excel file, those would all appear here. This file has one, so I'll click select data. And I'm brought into the visualization editor. On the left-hand side is where I have all of my available fields to work with. Here is where I can select the chart type that I want to create. And then each different chart type comes with different settings. So my first chart type that I want is actually a combo chart. I'm going to come here and I'm going to bring over month, trials, and conversion rate. So for conversion rate, I actually want this to be in average. So you can see by default, it took a sum. I want this to be an average, and I want to update it to be a percentage with 2 decimal points. And you can see how that updated here. And in the settings, you can see how the combo chart is a little different in the settings than when I had the grid selected. So I can come here and I can actually change what I'm using for my chart, which you can see will change to a area chart. I'll keep the line chart, and I'm going to call this trials versus conversion rate. And any additional descriptions or anything I wanted to give for my end users in these different visualizations, I could do so here. For this, I'm just going to click done, and then I'm going to hit the check up here. And then I have my first chart. I'm actually going to add a filter now to this, where if I come to add a filter, I can either add a filter for date or a category within my data source. So for this, I will use date and I will click connect. It'll automatically connect to the date field that I'm using in my data source. If I had 2, where, for example, in your sales numbers, you'll have date created, date closed. You'd be able to select which date you want to use. So I will click, I'm actually going to set this to be last 365 and click create. And I can continue to add different types of filters, where if I had a country filter or maybe a territory or by product, I could add that up here to the top so that I can kind of slice and dice my data differently. From here, I can add another visualization. So I'll come up here and I can pick to use the same data that I've been using in this dashboard, or I can choose a totally different data source. So if I have email data for sales in HubSpot, but I have my opportunities maybe in Salesforce, you're able to bring both of those applications into one view in these dashboards, so you don't have to keep popping around to different applications to get your different insights. For this though, I am going to stick with this same file. I will select my data, and let's create a funnel chart, which I think I just missed it. Yep, funnel chart here. And I'll pull over stage for my opportunities and the amount. So again, I'm going to come in here. I'm going to change this to a currency. I'll hit update, and this will be opportunities by stage. Oops. And I'll hit done. I'm going to connect this as well to the filter. Hit the check. And then from here, I can continue. I can shortcut into duplicating this visualization. I can quickly come create a bar chart to see the type of my opportunity, whether it's forecasted, pipeline, or just an opportunity here. I can change this currency again. I can do ops by type. I'll hit the check, and then I can continue to keep adding different visualizations here. Let's just do one more. We mentioned customer acquisition costs, so I'll pull this over, and you can see how quickly I am creating these different visualizations here. We'll take an average, and we'll just change this title like that. And then as I continue to add these different chart types, you can see that they keep adding as the same size here, but I have full control over the size of these different charts here. If I wanted to, maybe this funnel will go down the right-hand side. So when you first start adding your different visualizations, they'll all be the same size, but you can, as you see, you can update that. Oops, let's do this one first. I'm having trouble with my mouse. We'll do this. And then this. And then within Slingshot, you have a few different themes that you can choose from. So if I wanted to change this to ocean theme, I could. And then as well in the editor, which you I think saw on some of these, you can change the start color. So if you wanted to throw some orange in your chart, you can do that. So we'll just save this out for the perfect sales dashboard. And we'll hit the check up here and we'll save this into the sales workspace. So now once it's saved there, everybody on that workspace gets a notification that this dashboard has been added. They can come check it out. Within the dashboards, you have a few different options where you can export out to Excel. You can export to PowerPoint where you can create ready to go presentations where you can annotate, your charts, add some notes to your PowerPoint and export out a ready to go presentation. But as Jason mentioned, some of the advantages of having all of this data within a digital workplace are what we refer to as productivity flows. So from the overflow menu here, if I go to start a discussion, I can start a discussion with the whole sales team, and I'm going to call this customer acquisition cost. I'm going to click create. And right from this dashboard, I'm now in the discussion tab. And it's brought in a live link right to this dashboard. And I can actually come back here and annotate this dashboard. So if I wanted to take an image and annotate exactly what it is that I am going to start this conversation on, I'm going to come here. I'm going to hit this annotation. I'm going to take this arrow and I want to find out why since April, our customer acquisition cost has been going up. If I wanted to add additional images and annotations, I could. For this though, I'll keep going. So I'll click done. Now you can see an image of that annotated visualization. And I'm going to ask Miriam, why is customer acquisition going up since April? So Miriam will get an alert as well as everybody on this workspace has access now to this conversation. So you're able to go right from data into from the insights into collaborative conversation with your team. And right from here, you say there was an action item that came out of this conversation. We'll just write action item for now. And I can come from this conversation right into a task. I can create a task for somebody in the sales workspace. And again, a live link right to that discussion here. Maybe we'll update, I don't know, budgets or something. Now, if I go over to the tasks, I can see that task here. I should have assigned it on creating it, but I can give it an assignee and a due date. So within Slingshot, not only can you create your perfect sales dashboard, but you can drive conversations that are data-driven and actions as well that are data-driven to create a data-driven organization. And that was, I think, all I wanted to show. Jason, anything I missed?
No, that was great. There was some questions and there was a question on exporting dashboards for presentations, but you kind of showed very briefly that there were some export options there, which are pretty nice. Maybe just show like what one of them might look like.
Yeah, so for for exporting to Excel, I know I clicked PowerPoint, but for Excel, you can actually map directly to Excel visualization. So when you export, you can manipulate your data even more, and it will map right to a line chart or a pie chart or whatever it is right in Excel. So as you update your data, your chart is updating. And then for PowerPoint, as I mentioned, so these are the different slides that would export. You can select whether or not you want to have like this overview slide. You can add your chart title and notes, and then you can annotate all from this export without the need, or even before you're in your PowerPoint. So it's pretty powerful. I mean, you can add your own branding and logo and stuff like that in there too.
And very slick. Cool. All right. Well, that was great. I answered all the other questions, so we're good there. I guess I'll go ahead and let me re-share my screen and we can wrap this guy up. All right. So one last slide. I just want to thank everyone for joining us today. And I want to thank Casey for a great demo. We encourage everyone to get started today. Everything that you just saw in the demo, you can try for yourself. Go to slingshotapp.io. sign in and you can start a trial. And then the nice thing is you have features for Slingshot that are free forever. So if you decide that, hey, you're good enough with a single workspace and just having some limited capability, you can still take advantage of the entire digital workplace just for yourself or for a couple coworkers. So we encourage you to try Slingshot today at slingshotapp.io. And with that, I want to thank everyone again and thank Casey, and we will see you at the next webinar.